Hi, this is Joanne.
And Tom. Hello, everybody.
We're here with Real Talk with Tom and Joanne today with another episode. Now, we've had some previous episodes. One was regarding assessed value. So we talked about how a lot of homes are really undervalued compared to what they really sell for or what the market is showing them to be. We had also another recent podcast regarding 8 tips to win an offer in this type of market, which is known as the seller's market. So again, when we have multiple offers, we need to position you as a buyer to help you get into that home.
So we talked about 8 tips, okay, when there's multiple offers, how to get your offer accepted in a hot seller's market. So we went through those 8 tips, but today we're going to dive deeper into one of the tips.
Yes, so this is tip 5.
And we talk about pricing. So sometimes homes go up for sale. Actually, we could probably do a podcast on how sellers price their homes because most of the public doesn't know, right? Some go based on what they want for their home. Some go based on what the realtor says their home is worth. Some go based on a guesstimate they saw online. Some go based on their assessed value. So there's a lot of different angles that arrive at a price that somebody has. So now we're going to talk about, you may go look at a home, somebody priced it with one of those tools, and maybe it's underpriced a little bit. So you go look at it, and let's say you fall in love with it, and you decide, boy, I think I'd pay more than they're asking for this, right? So if you think it's a good house and you think it's priced right, you're not going to be the only one, right? So there's going to be multiple offers on this property. So those 8 tips we talked about, we covered the first 4 a bit on our last podcast. So if you missed that, you got to check that one out. But now we're going to dive into use an escalation clause, okay? Now, you're a master in understanding an escalation clause because you went to a buyer presentation, a consultation with us, your professional realtor. We explained that going into this. So you go look at the home and you decide, I like this home. I think I want to offer more than they're asking for. What do we do, Joanne?
So now we position you, and again, there's many ways to do this. So, and again, that's where that buyer's consultation comes in handy. So there's an actual document called an escalation clause. So what does that mean? Say you're looking at a home, we're just going to pick a round number, $300,000. But like Tom said, you're thinking, gosh, I don't know. I feel this home is $320,000. I feel it's worth more. And we find out, again, that's our job as realtors. We find out, are there multiple offers on this home? Because we want to get you into this home. You like this home. So now we find out that, hey, what can we do to position you to get this home? But at the same time, maybe I don't really want to pay $320,000. So how do I work through this escalation clause document?
So we would add, we call it an escalation clause addendum. So we would write your offer in your scenario, write an offer for $300,000 to the seller, and we would attach this clause, and maybe you put in there, we would pay $1,000 over any other bid you get. Okay? Or you could put $500, depending on the pricing of the home. So you say, I'll offer you $300,000. I'll give you $1,000 over any other bid you get, but I'm going to have a cap in there. So my cap might be $320,000. So let's say there's multiple offers and somebody offers $315,000. You have an escalation clause saying you'll pay $1,000 more than that $315,000 at a cap of $320,000. So if all the other, issues with this offer are the same, you should win that bid, and you're going to pay $316,000 for that home because you're going to pay $1,000 over the highest bid they had.
Right. So you're not going to pay $320,000.
Correct.
We put a cap that said $1,000 in this scenario. Obviously, you'll talk to your realtor about what you'd like to do. So then you will just pay that $1,000 over that price.
Yeah, it sounds confusing. It's not. The addendum we have is very straightforward. But again, that's why it's so important to do a consultation, which we talked about in our last podcast. Because if you go look at that house, you don't have time to go think about it, right? Or if we throw this escalation clause at you and you haven't seen it before, you're going to say, I think I need to sleep on this, which I wouldn't blame you. But do a good buyer consultation where we walk you through those kind of things, and you're going to be ready to act right. Because timing is everything in these situations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of times you'll be told, especially in this market, you have until this evening at 5 p.m. to make a decision. And now if we have to explain what an escalation clause, the next thing we'll talk about in the future is an appraisal gap. Oh my gosh, it feels overwhelming to you as a buyer.
Well, then we talk about communication. That's one of the 8 tips that we talk about. And people go, oh, communication, big deal. Communication's a big deal. So we start communicating your desires with another realtor possibly. So just keep in mind, you offer 300, you say you'll escalate all the way up to 320, you're going to pay $1,000 more than the highest bid they get. If somebody offered 315, you're going to buy the home for 316.
Right.
Now we have people that say to us, well, gosh, Tom and Joanne, I don't know if I'm comfortable laying all my cards on the table so they know I'm willing to pay 320.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you have to understand, that's why you have a professional realtor representing you. We have to represent your desires. So if another realtor says, hey, we would take your 320 if you'll remove the escalation clause. What are they saying to us? We don't have anything to escalate you that high. Right now, you're the best offer on the table. And then we stand firm and say, just because we put an escalation clause doesn't mean we intended to pay that or want to pay that. We love your home. We're going to pay you a fair price for your home. We're going to pay you $1,000 more than the others. No, we're not going to remove that escalation clause. So that's a possibility. But here's where communication comes in. So maybe that other realtor, Joanne, you call me and say, hey, if you would remove the escalation, we would accept the 320 offer from you. And I say, we're not willing to do that, but is there a number somewhere in the middle that you would sign my agreement today? Right? That's why you want a real estate professional representing. That's why the communication is so big. So there's a lot more to this, but I want to let you know that escalation clause is a great tool to get your offer accepted on a home when there's multiple offers in a hot seller's market. And that's what we're in right now.
Right.
So, and please, you don't need to understand all that right now. We do offer free consultations if you're looking to buy, here at Weichert Realtors Ileana, we pride ourselves in being masters of these contracts and training and those kind of things. So if you need, representation, please feel free to reach out to us.
And we go through all of these scenarios too. This is just one example that Tom and I gave today.
Right.
So we really good, like you said, we dive deep.
Well, it's interesting. We talk about that and say, okay, you might win because you have an escalation clause, but there might be another offer that has an appraisal gap built into theirs. And you're going, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Join us next time because we're going to cover all that on our next podcast.
Absolutely.
But just know there's a lot to this. We understand this. We're here to walk you through that. And if you have any questions, just reach out. AskWeichert@gmail.com. Any question you have, just reach out. We'd be happy to help you.
We're always here for you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
I hope this helped.
Great
Bye.
seeing y'all. Take care now.